welcome, my friends, to the Beat Kitchen.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure to see you on this forum.
Cool with the cold, yeah, vibe on the low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. Yeah, right, that's all I know.
Never gonna stress, forever gonna fight. See, out of AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just fly.
Light in the loop, no fear, no try. Soul in the chip, that's why. Talk that noise, pass me by.
All right, I hope you're doing well. It is Saturday. I see our friend KP joined. Always good to see you on here, and everyone else who has been able to jump on the stream today. Today's going to be a pretty quick session because what I want to show you is an idea about how you can craft your music in Suno, starting probably from somewhere else, maybe not immediately in Suno, but you can bring it into Suno and you can do great things with it. So that's really what I'm going to show you today. Also, we're going to take a look at the Suno terms of service. We're going to take a look at their community guidelines and see what they have in there, because we haven't really taken a look at the community guidelines. So that's our plan for today. And without much ado, let's jump in. If you look in the comments, or I should say the description for today's meeting, I have put in there a link to the community guidelines. So let's take a look at the community guidelines. First, as you know, Suno is more than just an AI creating app. It's a place where people meet, they share music and share ideas. There's comments on the music that you're posting on Suno, and therefore there are going to be guidelines. So let's take a look at these community guidelines real quick. This was modified earlier this year in January. Thanks for making music with us. Before you dive into the creative community, we're sharing some important guidelines to help ensure Suno remains a positive, respectful, and inspiring place. Then it goes straight to respect and community. Be kind, no harassment or bullying. Constructive feedback, we like honest opinions, but always focus on the content, not the person behind it. Respect privacy, don't share others' private information, personal details, and so on. No impersonation, be yourself. And then as far as IP, we respect the importance of intellectual property and copyright. So your generated content will be seen if your material is set to public. So this is a very important one for those of you who create, but you are not ready to share what you're doing with the world, or you feel that this is very precious to you and you don't want to share with everyone else. So like if you go into my account, you see that my profile is not public, right? Because I value my experiments. And I don't want anyone to see what I don't want to share. What I want to share is out on Phil the Creator on YouTube, but I have hundreds of songs which they're not ready. They're not share ready. And it says, if your material is set to link only, it is not private. If you share the link, there is no way to take it back. So you got to be aware of all of these parameters as you use Suno. Features like reuse prompt are available to any user who has access to your song. If you don't want someone to potentially reuse your prompts, your lyrics, and all that good stuff, please consider this before sharing your links. And honestly, this is a very important point. This is a point people don't understand if they are not true creators. A true creator will understand a prompt could be worth more than millions of dollars. If your Eureka prompt could help you generate music like no one else, and I have some of those prompts, I ain't gonna share them, which is why it's set to private, because it's a lot of hard work crafting those prompts, trial and error and stuff like that. So yeah, ownership and use rights. Songs generated with a basic plan are only available for personal, non-commercial use. I see a lot of people forgetting this and looking to monetize. No, you should not be monetizing what is under the free use plan. You want to monetize what is under the paid plan. Okay. All right. Suno cannot guarantee your local copyright office will protect your work. Currently, the U.S. Copyright Office often chooses not to protect works made, the keyword being primarily. I see a lot of people misquoting this. Yeah, the Copyright Office did not say, oh, you cannot copyright your work. It really depends on how much you use artificial intelligence. If you wrote words, lyrics, you put music to it, then of course you can copyright that. Whether you use AI to do a remix of it or not is inconsequential. All right. Self-promotion and building your audience. We encourage creators to connect. This is another cool thing about Suno. They're really after the value given to the individuals, value given to the people. And I think that's a very good aspect. No spamming, forbidding content. No explicit images or descriptions and anything inappropriate for younger audiences 13 plus. We have a zero tolerance policy for sexually explicit content targeting minors. Don't post content promoting violence, terrorism, or hate. Won't tolerate any concept that promotes discrimination, hate, or violence. Misinformation, hoaxes, or fake content is prohibited. And no illegal activities. And then spam and prohibited services. Don't post content that is designed to drive traffic. Don't create fake profiles. Posting content that could harm another person's device or privacy is a no-no. So you get the idea, all that good stuff. And they encourage you to report violations. It's a fair process. There's a consequence for violating the rules. Temporary suspension. It may issue a warning or temporarily suspend your access. I don't know if they're going to do that by your device being tracked or your IP, but they will take action. So the summary is quite upbeat and very good for the community on Suno. Be respectful and strive for a healthy, ever-growing community. I think that's really cool. So back into Suno itself. Just before we jumped on, I was in my beat kitchen cooking up some beats. Now, I know for lots of you, you've never really seen what I'm doing in this kitchen, cooking up the beats. But I cook up the beats on this keyboard right here. This is a DGX 670. I'm going to show you what it looks like from above. This keyboard has got some bite. You know, the people who are not aware may think, oh, it's just one of these baby intermediate keyboards, but it's actually a really good keyboard. Just before we got on, I was cooking up this beat. Let me play it for you so you understand where I'm coming from. So I was cooking up this beat called Suno Groove because I was going to use it in Suno. That's it, and it goes something like this. I'll play bits of it for you so you can see how it comes in. I have a troublemaker somewhere. I have my Mixcraft trying to take over. I gotta silence it. Okay. So the beat goes something like this. Okay. All this was sequenced from scratch. I programmed all this from scratch, okay? So you get the idea, right? So I've got this beat cooking. So what I did was I took the beat and I put it into a DAW. I put the beat into Mixcraft. Let's go over to Mixcraft. A lot of magic happening in the kitchen. So I went over here into Mixcraft and I put the beat in. So we got the beat. Now Mixcraft. Mixcraft is a little bit fussy. I got to tell it the preference every time. All right. Now you know I want you to come out of the headphones. Okay. So let me play it from here. So part of the cooking process is to sprinkle in whatever lyrics, whatever demonstration you want. So I added the lyrics and some ad-libs.
AI. C out of AI. Yeah. Cool with the code, vibe on the low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. AI right, that's all I know.
And the chorus.
Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just glow, just fly.
So that's going to be a female vocal. Now the thing about prompting in Suno, I know a lot of people, they feel, I really can't do it the way I want it to be done. You got to try. You got to at least give the tool something to work with, even if it's just getting a little bit up there in the level or the register that you're thinking of. It will help Suno understand what you're trying to do. Okay. Then when all is said and done, I now mix this output, and this is where we get back into Suno. So coming back into Suno, I have my audio prompts. This one right here.
AI. C out of AI. Yeah. Cool with the code, vibe on the low.
So you see, I'm feeding Suno some prime beef. I'm not just feeding it garbage. I'm feeding it something that is midway there. You get what I'm saying? I'm not feeding it just words or just banging on the table as I do sometimes. And while that's okay, you got to feed Suno prime beef to get a prime response. So there's a couple of options here. We can use the lyrics exactly as is, or I'll show you this to give you an idea. You could go up a notch, and you could give a very intricate set of rules. Let me show you those intricate set of rules right here. This is gonna help unlock some ideas. Because I know when you are putting a song in, there might be a temptation to just leave it as is, just the lyrics. But I want you to understand there's a different way you could do it in Suno. And that different way is as follows. It's taking your lyrics and expanding on them with the square brackets that I'm about to show you here. Let's zoom in. So, as you can see, when we get to the verse, the very first verse, you can see here over here, all this stuff. I'm going to be circling them on the screen. Let me just zoom in. It's a little bit hard for me to write on the screen for some reason. Very difficult, very elusive. Okay, well, I'll just hover over it and you know what I'm talking about if you're able to see it. So over here, you can see cool with the code, yeah, vibe on the low tone, laid back delivery. It's a prompt within the song. You don't put this in the style prompt, you put this in the music prompt. You get what I'm saying? You put this in the lyric box. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Again, another prompt. So as you take a look at each line, you're getting everything down to the nitty-gritty of sung by a female expressive voice, full voice, full belt, full tilt, whatever you want to call it, on fight. So it's very, very specific. This is what I would call next level prompting for your songs in Suno. Okay, because I got asked about this question yesterday and I wanted to give you something to work with. So in order for you to get this level of prompting, you must first have your song to hand. You must have a good description of what you're trying to illustrate. And then you need to feed this to a tool. And I'm going to show you that process. You need to feed it to a tool such as Gemini or ChatGPT. I prefer to use ChatGPT because it seems to understand what I'm trying to achieve a lot more. All right, so assuming I had just a plain old song. If I had the plain old song, I would come into GPT, have some conversation with it like, I'm trying to work on a hip hop jam and I need you to help me craft in the square bracket prompts for the song. Do you think you can help me with this? And then I would send the request because I like setting the stage. So it's saying, oh, are you referring to Suno style prompts where you include short bracketed descriptions? You see all this stuff. It already knows. So that's why I like GPT, because it knows where you're going with this. So I could say, yeah, Suno style prompts. Should I drop the song and you can help me work it out? Because what I'm looking for is very specific. Yes, absolutely. Drop the song. Go ahead and paste your lyrics, sections, or even just a rough draft. Blah, blah. Okay. So I'm going to give it further instructions. All right, that sounds like a great idea. Now, in the verses, I want it to be laid back, like West Coast laid back, or even East Coast laid back style. And I want you to prompt this in. And then for the verse, I want it to be an R&B feel, sung by a female vocal. I want R&B riffs, preferably panned as the chorus is happening. And I want a modern, punchy feel to all of this. And I want you to act in the capacity as my co-producer. So some of the typical variables and characteristics you would encounter in a hip hop jam of this laid back nature, like real chill, I want you to bake those in. So put on your producer hat. All right, here are the lyrics. Go to work. So I hope you're realizing that to get good value out of an AI tool, you have to be speaking to it in a way that makes sense. All right. So anyway, I'm giving it the lyrics. You see how big that prompt was? This is a prompt to get a song right. You get what I'm saying? It's a prompt just to get the song right. So anyway, this is what it's given me. You heard the intro to what I did. Now, if I take what it's done here and put it into Suno, I'm going to get some good output. But I'm going to challenge it a little bit further. I'm going to say, I like the idea that you've given me, but yeah, I like what you are suggesting. At the end of each line, I need some square bracket prompts to suggest the energy, the feel, the textures, the riffs, and everything else. So give that to me in the next prompt answer. You know, when you're cooking up a beat or cooking up an idea, you have to let it marinate. And this is the marinating process. So let's make it bigger so you can see it on the screen. So you can see, there we go. It's even talking about the way the music could be, the way the vocals would be, so on and so forth. So as opposed to just giving it a basic prompt, this is where you can experiment. And I'm not saying that you may not get some great ideas from a basic prompt, but what I'm saying is you got to be a scientist, always experimenting in that kitchen. All right, let's copy all of this, all of that, and let's go back into Suno. So as opposed to just the lyrics, I'm posting a lot of stuff. And there's some stuff here I could probably take out of here. The producer snapshot, even though it could be helpful. Oh yeah, that should be in styles. Let's see what's in lyrics. I might have put it in the wrong place to begin with. Let me go back. Back here. Got to make sure I got just this bit. I got too much of it. Okay, and into the lyrics. So yeah, it's totally capped there. Okay. Well, we're gonna try it out nonetheless. Let me just make sure I didn't grab too many bits of text. Okay, I think we got it. Okay. Then of course the next step is to prompt, right? So we got the style. I'm just gonna say hip hop. And this is going to be an interesting experiment because we're going to do it with version 5 and version 4.5. So the audio influence, I do want it to be somewhat influential, but I want the style influence to be even more. I'm going to crank that to the 90s and just call it CI2I. Play on words there. I'll say version 3 square prompts. All right, let's see what we can cook up with this one. Okay, again, you got to remember the prompt that was put in for context. So play a little bit of it for context to remind you.
AI. See eye to AI. Yeah. Cool with the code, vibe on the low.
So you get the idea. Now let's listen to what Suno has cooked. You can see the feel is somewhat different.
Cool with the cold, yeah, vibe on low. Head up, chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. Full keys to ride, that's slow.
Ain't never gonna stress, never gonna fight. Start a AI this way. See how the AI feels right. Just flow, just flow, just fly. Never gonna stress, never gonna fight. Start a AI this way. See how the AI feels right. Just flow, just fly.
No war, no shame, no lie. We vibe, we rise, we sky. Old world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye.
Never go, never go, never go, never go. Never go, never go, never go, never go. Feels right. Just flow, just fly. Never go, never go, never go. Never go, never go, never go.
Come on.
Never go, never go, never go. Feels right. Just flow, just flow, just glide. Never go, stress, stress, stress. Never go, stress, stress. Never gonna stress, never gonna fight. Just me. See how the AI on the fire. Just go, just go, just fly. Never gonna stress, never gonna fight. See how the AI feels right. Just flow, just go, just fly. Just flow, just go, just fly. Just flow, just fly. Never go. Never go. Never go. Just flow, just go, just fly.
It did a good job of getting what the vibe I was trying to create in terms of it being laid back, but I wanted something more truncated at the end of each beat. So I know how to get that, but let's check this out. Next one. See that prompt asking for the EP, the Rhodes, it did it. That's more like it.
Yeah.
It's got a live bass sound.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe on low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too
So look at that dry vocal delivery. See that? It absolutely nailed that part, because what you're hearing is an extremely dry vocal, and his vocal itself is dry in texture, so he totally got it.
I know.
Never gonna stress, never gonna fight. See, eye to AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just glow, just right. Never gonna stress, never gonna flow. See, eye to AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just glow, just fly.
Hype in the loop, no fear, no try. Soul in the chip, that's why. Talk that noise, pass me by. I see peace in the sky.
Never gonna stress, never gonna fight.
You see all that ping pong delay, all that stuff is in there. I think you get the message. You gotta experiment with these prompts until you get something you like. And maybe when you use these square prompts, the same way you saw me bake them in, your music will change. And then you as a curator, you can decide which take you want. See?
Never gonna stress.
Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just glow, just fly. No war, no shame, no lie. Eat, ride, get prize, we sky. No world fade, new drive. One love, one code, one eye. No war, no shame, no lie. We vibe, we rise, we sky. No world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye.
Never gonna stress, never gonna fight. See, I feel right. Never too cold, never too high. Just low, just low. Never gonna stress, never gonna stress. See, I feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just flow, just flow, just fly.
Yo.
And that's the end. That's pretty much, almost the end.
Never gon' stress, never gon' fight.
See, I feels right.
Yo, never too cold, never too high.
Just flow, just glow, just flow.
Never gon' stress, never gon' fight.
See, kiss right.
Yo, never too cold, never too high.
Just flow, just flow.
All right, you get that idea. So we can use different ideas, like this one that I have over here is another AI generated square bracket prompt list, and it's going to give me different results, which is why you got to iterate, reiterate, do it multiple times and choose the best. So let's get rid of what's in here. Let's put this in, and I'm going to use a simple, instead of telling it the key, I don't think it obeyed though. Yeah, it stuck to my E minor key that I originally selected. So I'm going to get rid of some of those because those are not needed for my next experiment. And my next experiment is just going to be a minimalist style prompt, but more of the juice is in the lyric prompt. And I'm just gonna call this version 4. I'll say original square prompts. Now I'm gonna crank up the audio influence way high because I want it to have more of that, original cutoff at the end of each bar.
AI right, that's all I know.
I want it to seize pretty much. So I'm going to use more of my audio influence as much as possible. recreate, and this will be the final run. Sit back and check it out. And if you have any questions before we jump off today, just let me know, because this is going to be the final song for today. All right, let's check this out. Hallucinations.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe on the low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. AI ride, that's all I know.
Never gon' stress, never gon' fret. See how the AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just float, just fly.
Light in the loop, no fear, no try. Soul in the chip, that's one. Talk that noise, pass me by. I see peace in the sky.
So let me just comment right off the bat that my less elaborate prompt versus this one, there is a difference immediately. The one that had more ingredients, it sounds richer, right? It's not overproduced, but it is produced to a much higher level. The intricacies, you can hear it just in the first few bars. Listen again. So the original.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe on low.
You see all those breaks and stuff, it does add to the tension release of the song as opposed to just a straight cruise through. So you can actually get some good ideas from your AI prompts that you were not thinking of initially, right? And that's what we're seeing in this one. All right, let's move a little bit ahead. Listen.
Old world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye.
Never go, never go, never go, never go.
So that's the first one. Let's listen to the second. It's funny.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe on the low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. AI ride, that's what I know.
Never gon' stress, never gon' stress. See how the AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Just float, just glow, just fly.
Yeah, light in the loop, no fear, no try. Soul in the chip, that's why. Talk that noise, pass me by. I see peace in the sky. Shame, no lie. We vibe, we rise, we skies. Old world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye. No war, no stain, no lies. We vibe, we.
All right, we got a great question in from our friend Awakening Soul, and it's a really good question because of late. My power's about to die. Help! I gotta plug in my power. 1 second. Okay, saved by the bell. Okay, so the question is, how much of the weirdness factor do you suggest? So that's a very good question. If you take a very close look at my screen, you can see I have dialed it down to 38%. Now, this is not to shame Suno version 5, But it's a really good question because of late I've been getting too many hallucinations. I've been getting too many hallucinations with version 5. I've been getting weird stuff. I've been getting little pixies and demons squealing in my left and right. And I'm like, no, I got to tone this down. I also find that version 5 is a little bit too exuberant. It likes to show off. So the honest truth, when I am at version 4.5 Pro, I don't mind cranking this up to 50 because I do like the unexpected. But very recently, just last week actually, I started dialing down on the weirdness factor with version 5. But to be honest, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference still. I think there's something up with version 5. I think it will be corrected. There's a lot of artifacty, hallucination-y kind of things in version 5, even though you do hear that version 5 has a much cleaner mix. It has a much cleaner mix. Version 4.5 isn't as punchy, but it's more coherent. As in this example I just did at 50. So, I mean, these are more predictable and less weird. They'll be less weird than version 5.
Yeah. C-I-A-I. Yeah.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe.
But then again, even 4.5, it has its moments. So for me, I have always historically been at the edge. If you look at all of my, let's say about 98 to 99% of my songs are always at 50%. You know, you got to experiment. And when you see it behaving a bit strange, maybe that's time to maybe pull back on the weirdness factor. But depending on what you're trying to achieve, if it's something that is not cutting edge, that is pretty predictable, yeah, I would say you can tone it down. But I like being on the edge. But with version 5, I've had second thoughts about the weirdness factor. But even with the weirdness factor down, I think version 5 is just, because it's in beta, it's going through the evolution. And hopefully it will get there eventually. All right. I hope that answers your question. Okay. To take it out, I am just going to play a couple other versions that I worked on before you guys and girls jumped on the call. So here we go with just one more version. And I appreciate the question. If there are any more, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you sometime soon in the middle of next week. Bye for now. I think we've heard that one. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, hey, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Cool with the code, yeah, vibe on the low. Chill in the wave, just let it go. Talk too loud, nah, keep it slow. Yeah, right, that's all I know.
Never gonna stress, forever gonna fight. See, out of AI feels right. Never too cold, never too high. Cause flow, just fly.
Light in the loop, no fear, no try. Soul in the chip, that's why. Talk that noise, pass me by. I see peace in that sky. No war, no shame, no lies. We vibe, we rise, we sky. Old world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye. No war, no shame, no lie. We vibe, we rise, we sky. Old world fade, new tide. One love, one code, one eye.
Never gonna stress,
right, my friends. Take it easy.